Hey there, record loving friend. It's Brian from Tokyo Record Style. How's it going? I am not dashing around early in the morning so much. I still am. I still have to get the one kid out of the house, but I'm not having to drive to get the other one out. And it just dawned on me that I'm not having these kind of little decompression times that I can have from time to time while I'm sort of driving to and fro. I have this like little pocket of window some weekday mornings, and it gives me a little bit of time to reflect on whatever's going on. And sometimes it gives me a chance to unravel something that's just maybe on my mind. Uh, I don't really have a destination to get to. It's more about just kind of riffing on something. And I kind of have something in my mind, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'll get on and I'll pontificate. And it'll be by forcing myself to, putting myself out there a little bit that I will come to, crack some little chestnut open about something. And it's about a 30-minute drive home. And so that's a nice little time to vlog, if you will. So, considering I hadn't done it in about, I don't know, to 10 days maybe, I wanted to hop on and just kind of riff on a few things that have been going on. And I just a little tiny window of opportunity, and I wanted to come and share it. So, hi. How is everybody? How are you guys? Oh, I got Spud Doubter. Wait, how am I should know how to pronounce this. Doherty, Doherty, Spud Doherty, Mr. Doherty, and Mrs. Spuds Doherty. Am I saying it right? At the Charlton Coliseum. Nice, dude. There's a show going on tonight, a Fish show. I've got my uniform on. Don't worry. I'm gonna tune in here in a little bit. I don't have. I got to catch up on last night's show. Fish is on tour. I think I've watched like almost like every single show since like 2017 or something. Like I've watched like virtually every single show. I might have skipped a few here and there over the years, but I kind of have this year I've given up a little bit on it. Not given up, but I'm not necessarily compelled. I do want to see every show, but if I didn't see the New Hampshire shows or wherever that was, whatever the 3 night opener was, like I didn't see those, and maybe I won't go back and watch them. And there was a couple of Mexico night runs that were like that I'm just like, I probably won't ever get caught up on that. Another reason that I'm kind of like slacking off on my Fish fandom is because I did this thing last year, over a year ago, the Japan vinyl tag. And what I did was I put this like vinyl tag forward. Anybody who's kind of watching this knows already, but I put 20 prompts forward for the vinyl community to sort of riff on. And I was celebrating my 20th year in Japan, and now I'm about ready to celebrate my 21st year, because it's been almost a year since I came to Japan. And to commemorate that 20 years here, I just made like a vinyl tag for myself that I thought maybe I'd be the only one who did it, but I kind of put it out there as the Japan vinyl tag, and I made this promise that anybody who participated, I would go listen to the 20 records that they put forth. And so that's what I've been doing. And so far, I am like 22 entries into some 40 or 50 entries, I think. So that means I've listened to like 400 albums this year. I've listened to 400 extra albums that I would have not otherwise listened to. So that's been an incredibly fun, challenging, and rewarding experience, and it's still going. And I thought I could be finished with it within a couple of months, and then I thought, okay, well, I'll finish it within a half year. And then I'm like, oh my god, I hope I can finish it within 1 year. There's no way. So it's going to take me even longer. It's going to take me like 2 years, but I'm still, or I don't know, it's going to take me 2 years probably, and I'm going to keep listening, because it's so interesting to really come to know somebody through the excuse me, through the records that they've put forth. And my homie co-host of the Dog Log, Michael, has been like, why are you still doing that Japan vinyl thing? It's Phish tour. And I'm like, I know, but I'm I'm really enjoying, for example, I mean, there's just been like so much listening. Actually, this record that's sitting right here on my shelf, or I'm listening to, this Keith Jarrett Sun Bear Concerts. This was something that I discovered through the Japan vinyl tag. Make It a Perfect Prescription put that forward, and some guy like answered all the prompts with Bowie. Answers with the Bowie albums, and I went and listened to David Bowie's entire discography, which I didn't realize how many blind spots I had with David Bowie, and that was like incredibly rewarding. So that's been like the big musical homework that I've been doing this year. And so my beloved Phish has kind of been taking it on the chin for that, but that's okay. I'm still seeing tons of shows. I'm pretty much seeing everything, and I get caught up when I can. But they're in Charleston tonight. That's awesome that you're there, Spuds. Good to have you here. Don't be jealous of me, Ninja Cat Matt. Oh, I see. These are the little things that I don't get from living in the States. SMFF. I should know what that is. Shakes my fucking head, maybe? Is that what that is? Shaking my effing head. I don't know. Like, I can't keep up with these kind of pop culture references. When you move around like this, you forfeit some of this stuff. You can't stay in the know. Music is another one. It's just like, it's hard. It's really hard. I grew up in, Tulsa, and like trends took 2 years, like hip hop was like 2 years behind. In Oklahoma, we got it, but it just was like 2 years late. And not with everything, but with some things. And by the time that it got to Tulsa, it was already, it was already 2 years behind, and New York's and Paris's and Tokyo's were already onto the next things. And anyway, yeah, but now that I'm in Tokyo, I'm like, I sometimes things will come out and people will know about some trend that's happening back home, and I have no clue what it is, and I'm just kind of out of the loop. Yes, Yvonne, nice to see you here. Thanks for being here. Yes, early Monday morning in Tokyo. I'm having a little Monday morning anxiety. I just wanted to share that. I'm having like, I got a week ahead of me. It's Monday morning. And I'm getting this like true, real, honest anxiety about the grind, which I love. I do love it, but I have to just get going, and it's really hard. And when you've been doing the same thing for a long time, which I have, but which I love, and I get the great privilege and honor to work with some amazing, cool people, and I love my work, and I do all kinds of creative things, and it's really actually kind of hard to explain what I do. But every day I get to, every day it's a new, interesting challenge. But after you've been doing it for a long time, it's like you kind of get the itch to do, you're like, am I doing everything that I want to be doing? And you are, but somehow it's just because life moves in these chunks, it's like these big chapters. And I'm like, oh my God, there goes 10 years. And it's like, have I made the most of that? Or should I be doing something else? Or what else can I be doing? And so I'm in I feel like I'm kind of not at the end per se, but I'm like in a space where I'm like, okay, if, what's the next move? That's kind of been in my mind. It's been in my mind for a while. Anytime you're somewhere for, a decade, it's like, you got to turn the gaze inward and be a little bit introspective and be like, what am I doing? Let's reevaluate here. And I'm definitely kind of in that phase, and 20 years in Tokyo actually gives you like that kind of perspective. It's not often that I've had so many opportunities in my life where I've had to like look back at 20 years, but now I'm looking back at 20 years. I actually came on to talk about something. I'm going to keep going here through the comments, but I do have a little thing I want to riff on. I think they're playing better than they have than they have this century, this tour. Yeah, their Phish is playing great. I know, a big statement, but I listen and I stand by. Yeah. This band Fish, you could write them off, as a band you don't care about, you just never really got. You're just like, okay, whatever. These crazy maniacs who love this ridiculous band Fish. But like, as a template for a band that like goes through the stages of rock stardom and playing concerts and having fans and going through waves of popularity and success and um, accolades and just going through the chapters of being in music. You gotta hand it to these guys. You have to stand in awe of their success in terms of 40 years of experience and 40 years of forging a whole thing, like not so many groups out there get to have this kind of fortune. It's not like and I mean you know they imploded and they could have walked away from it and it could have been done. It could have been like 20 years in the rear view mirror, but they're out there. And the perseverance is really, really, really paying off in a huge way right now. Just an interesting little anecdote. The band Fish, they kind of they're sort of four equal parts. It's one of those sort of Led Zeppelin things where like if you removed one, it's no longer the thing. And God forbid one of them, I don't even want to think about it, but there is this kind of four band of brothers or whatever, and they line up on this, and there's not the stage configuration. Essentially, is like the four of them in a line. It's not like the drummer is way in the back. The drummer has always been the namesake of the band and is kind of on the front line. And but they've rearranged the front line a couple of times in the band's history just to kind of experiment and sort of throw things to the wind, caution to the wind. And they've done it a couple of different ways. And just in this last year or this last few months, actually, they've rearranged the furniture. And now the bass, Mike and Trey, are sitting right next to each other and they're playing. And they haven't had that configuration in quite some time. And it's really, really endearing to see these two buddies, and they all have their dynamic like siblings. It's like those two and those two and these two and those three and this one and these four. They all have these different dynamics. And to see Mike and Trey, who are kind of a little not oil and water, but they're two completely different characters, to see them like just having fun and like soloing off each other. And they do this thing where Trey kind of plays the bass on guitar and Mike plays the guitar on bass, and they're kind of like trading. It's really, really interesting. It's really fun. And it's almost like, a marriage that like went through all of those tough years, all of those ridiculously tough years. And they came out on the other side and they're like, oh, thank God we like survived it. Now we have each other and that's all we have. So it's a really it's a inspiring example of what hard work really pays off in the end. They are playing better than they ever played, and I know it's coming from a place of like tempered, slow and steady, eye on the prize. Not that there's a prize, but it's that long game. They've played the long game, and we are very, very lucky for it. And they do sound great. Yeah, a lot of listening with that Japan vinyl tag. Amazing. Thank you for the congratulations on the 21 years. Yep. Hey there, Art, North Carolina vinyl picker. Charleston, North Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina. I always get I've never been to the Carolinas. Fish is in your neck of the woods. I was just talking about them. Okay. Just checking up. Catch you later. Kaboom. Kaboom. That's a shout out to our friend F Zappa 20. Let's see. Put your space face next to mine, baby. Yep, Bowie. Put your space face next to mine. No, jealous of Spud for being there tonight. Oh, okay, gotcha. Fish is destroying the South Carolina. Yeah, they played in Carolina the other night. It was fun. Okay, yeah, have a good time. All right, Ninja Cat's got a lot of comments. Ninja Cat, appreciate them all. There's something I want to riff on. Well, hold on. This looks like there's something here. I just changed my entire life's path at 53. Okay, congrats, dude. Yeah, amazing. I mean, that's got to be hard. Rip cording, from 53. It's like, are you relevant at 53? Can you get a job at 53? Does anybody want to? What do you do? I mean, I'm nearly there. I'm 48. So good for you. That's man, it's got to be tough, especially with divorce and drug abuse and just doing the same thing like you. It's impressive that they're still touring. Yeah, exactly. Mike says the old setup sounds better too with his in-ear monitors. Amazing. Okay. Well, what I kind of this just kind of changing gears here rather quickly. What I wanted to say is that I've been watching. If you guys have been watching my channel, I'm working on a video right now. It's going really, really well. I'm really excited about it. I'll be able to share it in the next couple of days. It's just like going to work on it a little bit at a time. It's going to be like a 2-parter, and it's going to be like a giant thing. I'll tell you, like, I have had this many records out of my collection, sitting on this. Actually, that's half of them. I've already talked about this half, and now I'm going to make a video part 1, and then I'm going to put these all away because they've been staring at me for weeks and like, make this video. And I'm like, I'm going to. So finally I'm going to put half of them back, and I'm going to put, and then I'm going to, like, once this video is out the pipeline, I'm going to pull this one in, and I got another one. So, but it's going well. I didn't exactly know how I was going to do it, but it's becoming clear how it's going to work. And I think you'll enjoy it. I think there's a lot to learn. I think you'll really appreciate it. And I mean, I'm making it for myself, but I think there's a lot, like anybody who's, who loves, I mean, Happy End or Neil Young or Asa Kawamaki, or I want to kind of keep them in order, Elvin Jones. And, I think there's something there for everybody. If you know all these like iconic album covers, Hypnosis and Pink Floyd and Beatles and all, I went through my record collection. Okay, I'll give you a sneak peek. It's about photography. It's about photography and music, but don't tell anybody because, and I'm a photographer, so I'm really excited to talk about photography and where it intersects with music, and that's going really well. But I just have a little bit of time left here. What I was going to say is that nothing real. Well, I have I got a new camera. I got a new 360 camera. I don't have it handy. It's in my bag, but I kind of don't know how to use it. It's a whole new form factor, and I don't exactly know, like, do I tilt it up or do I? It's one of these 360 cameras, and like it like works too well. It's like it has no limitations whatsoever, and you don't have to like point it. You don't have to like point it at you. You don't have to, and it's got like a front camera and a back camera. I kind of like don't even know how to use it. Actually, it's like it's so smart that I like, really, I don't have to even like I don't have to do anything, and I just do this, and I can just decide all later, which is an interesting way to approach photography altogether. I remember when I got the camera that's shooting me right now. I have a Canon R5, which is my main work camera, and my friend was telling me, like, I've been in the Canon system for a really long time, and Canon is always, bragging about whatever features it has, but it has this really good autofocus system, which, purists might tell you, man, you got to be on manual everything, manual this, that, it's like, if you really want to create, then you have to be in charge of every little decision. And anytime you put one of those little settings on automatic, you're robbing yourself of an opportunity to make a creative decision. And I agree with that. But, you have basically with photography, you have aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, right? Shutter speed, but then you have like composition and depth. You have like more stuff to think about, but essentially you have these like the clutch, the gas, and the steering wheel. Basically you have these three sort of parameters that you have to constantly be thinking about. And then you have this focus, which is like time in 4 dimension or something. It's always there, but you just kind of like don't even think about it. All you're thinking about are these axes that that you're thinking on. And the Canon R5 does this like eyeball following thing, which I can't remember if the old 5Ds used to do this, but my friend was telling me, dude, you just turn this thing on and it just follows the eyeball wherever it goes in the frame. And you just don't have to worry about focus anymore. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like fun. And he's like, no, 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 no. It's so good. It just makes it like so much easier. And I used to go to photo shoots and I would get back to the editing booth and I would look at a set of a dozen photos and I'd be like, nope, 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 nope. Maybe nope, 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 nope. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, nope, nope, nope. Yes, okay, fine. There's one in like pin sharp focus. But I would often get back and find that there was like one photo for every 10, or maybe that's a good day. One photo for every 10 that you came back to the studio with that was like decent. And that's stressful. But then when I got this new camera, it was like I got back to the editing booth and I was like, oh, good, 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 good. Well, not good, 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 good. I was like, why did I take 12 photos of the same photo that are all like excellent, pin sharp focus? And I don't need to take 10 anymore because I can depend that the camera is going to get the thing in focus. And so then suddenly that unlocks your ability. It gives you an opportunity to forget about focus. You don't have to think about it anymore. All you have to think about is composing, which is really what we want to be doing with photography. I think is we want to be composing. We want to be looking at things and deciding what goes into the things and how it goes in. We don't want to worry about the things that we want to be in focus, to not be in focus. So anyway, why am I talking about this? Oh, so this new camera that I got, it's one of these things where it just photographs everything. There was this camera that came out a number of years ago called the Lytro camera, I think. And the Lytro camera basically took like a million planes of focus, like a depth. It took every depth of aperture settings, and then you decide later which aperture you want. I don't know if that's going to make sense to everybody, but it's an interesting idea that you don't think about aperture, which is really one of the most arguably creative tool you have in your photographer's toolkit. And this camera, the Lytro camera, just would take the infinite number of apertures that you could imagine taking, and then later you get back to the studio and you decide which one you want. And it kind of robs you from the opportunity of like imagining something in your mind's eye and then trying to achieve that. That's what I've been telling myself for a long time, but I wonder if that's really important. I'm wondering, because this new camera that I have, it essentially does the same thing. It takes everything, not even just the apertures. It takes every view of every angle. It takes an image of everything. I'm sure you know this about a 360 camera, and then later you get back to the editing booth and you decide if you want it to be pointing that way or to be pointing like 180 degrees the other way, or anything you want. It's very weird. It's a very different way of thinking. And so I'm watching a lot of videos about how to use it. Like, what's the technique on how to use this camera and like how to get these. And it's not, there's like, so as you can imagine, there's like so much content about like, hey, here's how I use the 360 camera. Join my training class 101. And here's a link to buy the affiliate, blah, blah, blah. And you can buy this camera for the thing. And here's the difference between the Mark III and the Mark IV and the Mark IV and the Mark V. And so I'm like, I watched a dozen of these things, and now my algorithm is filled with people talking about camera gear, which is good. It's good to do every once in a while, but it's also filled with, and I would see this, but now it's jam packed with people who are vlogging from Tokyo. It's like a travel vlog. My stream is just filled with people being like, "Oh, I'm at the onsen. Oh, I'm at the Ryokan. Oh, I'm at Hello Kitty Land. Oh, hello, I'm at..." But wherever I am in Japan or wherever I am in Tokyo, it's become this it's this whole vernacular and this whole world of vlogging, and I'm sure it's not unique to Tokyo, but I'm certain it's not, but I'm guessing that Tokyo is like way high up on the list of like a place where you get street cred for coming to photograph. Now, I feel like I need to be kind of careful with this idea because it might make me sound like somewhat snobbish or something, but I came here in 2004. People have been coming to Japan for 100 years, but there was a time when people weren't coming here, and there was a time when like nobody had been here, and now it's like everybody's coming here, and has been here 2 or 3 or 4 times, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. The streets are, especially in Tokyo, not so much in the countryside, but the streets are filled with so many non-Japanese people that it's like, I don't know if it's me that's like sees it because I'm like attuned to it, or if it's really happening. But I have definitely walked into a handful of establishments over the last year and a half, last 2 years, and it's like more than 50%, sometimes as much as like 90 or 100% non-Japanese people drinking at a bar or eating at a restaurant or shopping at some place. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I've talked about it on my channel before, but like my friend at Upstairs Records told me that like 90% of his clientele are non-Japanese people, and he like heavily depends on people, finding his record shop in the guidebook and to coming and having and then coming back the next year and coming back the next year. And it's just filled with the stream of people who read about it essentially in a Lonely Planet or similar or online blog or whatever, the online equivalent of that. And of course, that's what it's cool. I'm into it, but it comes with some baggage that I kind of wasn't exactly prepared to think about and react to. And I probably gave that same level of confusion or anxiety, or for lack of better words, to the generation that, I came after. But, yeah, the city is changing quickly and quickly and a lot, quickly and fast. And it's really, it's interesting. It's been very interesting to watch. It used to be like, and I would be lying, even though I would try to resist a feeling like this, but I'd be lying if I said that like part of the like allure of being here is that like you're like an alien in like an alien landscape. It's like you're like unique. Okay, fine. Maybe it's that, but it's just like it's like you've stepped into another dimension, and like you're the only one there, and and you don't have anybody to talk to, or to compare it to, until you find one other person who's like from somewhere else, and you're like, oh, we're having the same experience. But now you get this feeling where it's like, oh, ugh, you're like, I don't want to go where everybody is. I want to go where everybody isn't. And there used to be this phenomenon that you would have in Japan as a non-Japanese person. And it would be this thing, which my friend John Saipal, who has articulated so well, he calls it gaijin like me. And it's this phenomenon where you kind of sum somebody up real quick walking down the street. There's another non-Japanese person that walking down the street, and you catch their eye and you sum them up in a matter of milliseconds. They're from this place. They've been here this long. They've got this kind of partner. They've got this kind of lifestyle. They've got this kind of blah blah blah, and you sum them up in a split second, in a millisecond, and then there's this thing where you go to the coffee shop and you're like, oh, look at, can I, you're one of me's, are you, how long have you been here? Who's been here longer? Who speaks better Japanese? Who's got better clients? Who's got a better girlfriend or boyfriend? Who's got more influence and clout and more connections and knows more about the thing? And then it's become such a trope that I saw this like Asian girl, maybe Japanese girl, who was like, hey, if you want to know about my country, if you want to come to Japan, the best person you can ask about the country, the people who know more about Japan than anybody else are single white dudes who who know about manga and record stores and motorcycles or whatever, denim and whatever subculture thing is. And you've seen the memes and the videos out there. And yeah, it's becoming a caricature of itself. It's like getting kind of meta, and it's getting a little, and you used to kind of like, I think you'd have this like 3-year itch, and then the 7-year, 5-year, and 7-year, and 10-year, and you'd have this like these little chapters of your first decade here, and then you kind of like you what's the word? You kind of graduate past it all, and you're like, oh, none of it matters. It doesn't, like, it's just a place. It's, oh, I guess I've immigrated. I guess you get the car, you get the credential, the imaginary credential that says, oh, finally I've risen above it all. None of it matters to me. There's no more pissing contest. And even though you said that you were never part of it from the beginning, you were. But now it's coming back. I feel it coming back. And what it is, it's very weird. It's the whole thing's been turned on its head. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, is that you meet people who are coming here multiple times a year, Tokyo in particular, but the nation as a whole, who are coming here numerous times a year. They're remote working here. They know they have connections here. They have friends here. They consider it like a second home. They're living between LA and Tokyo, and they're half the time in Berlin or Milan or wherever it might be. And they come here and they get tapped into like the cool things that are coming, and they know about the new place that came up, and the new little co-working space, and the new interesting new young experience, and this new part of town with all these cool coffee shops and this jazz bar that's legendary that you've never heard of. And like suddenly you're like, whoa, I'm aging out a little bit maybe. And so yeah, it's something that I just have, I kind of actually wanted to put a little intention out there. That was the point of coming online here, is that I'm kind of going to recommit myself to the city. It's an interesting thought. I feel like I had kids, not that I'm like going to abandon my kids or my family, but like life got really busy. I'm always out there, and like I'm always exploring, and I'm very lucky to be tapped into some things. And but I don't, I can't be bothered really to go out much, and to like, I'm just and I don't drink alcohol, so it's like the bar is not really interesting to me. And any extra money that I might have to go enjoy like a nice meal somewhere, I want to spend on records, or I want to, spend on my family. And so I don't have a whole lot of kind of 20-year-old, 30-year-old disposable income to go. Are those birds in my? I can hear. Yeah, they must be. I'm like, are these in my headphones? There's only me, right? I hear some lovely little birds in the background. So the reason I mention this is because I met up with a really interesting photographer this weekend who reached out to me, Jeremy. And he said, yo, I'm in town, or I've moved here. We met some time ago, and I'm in town. Do you know about this place in this neighborhood, and I was like, oh, I know the old place. I've never been to the new place, but I've heard that there's a new place. It's called Masako, a very famous jazz bar uh, in Shimokitazawa, where I used to go all the time. A really cool sort of institution of Shimokitazawa, where this Masako was this jazz singer, and she didn't really come around that much. I don't know if I ever remember meeting the actual Masako-san, but it was this really cool jazz club where it was before there was even the concept of like these jazz kisatens. It was like, but it was all these like comic books and magazines, and it was a place you just used to go and like. It was kind of like an expensive coffee, not that expensive, but like 400 yen seemed like quite expensive. And you'd sit down at a table by yourself for like 4 hours, and you would read comic books or magazines and by yourself, and you like, it was just like a place to kill time kind of, and just to just decompress. This was before we were all like oh so busy, and it was so nice. And maybe you'd meet a friend there, and you'd bring like some notes to share with somebody. You'd bring something that you were working on, something like an actual physical thing, and you'd be like, hey, here's those postcards, or here's this book, or here's this like album, or here's these prints I've been working on. What do you think? And you'd have this kind of like secret meeting. It was an awesome little cool place, and it was awesome. And when it closed, I thought, oh, it's the end of a era. What a shame. And I assume that Masako-san, who I imagine must have been somewhere around retiring age, packed up shop and retired, or moved back to the countryside or something. But apparently about the shop went away for like some 10 years, and either in the last couple years or in the last year, they opened up a new Masako, and all these people are going there, and it's become really, really, really trendy place to go. And so my friend said, hey, let's get this kind of a new acquaintance of mine said, do you know about Masako? I said, I know the old one, but I don't know the new one, but I'd love to know about it. So let's go. So I went there, and it was so cool, and it was really nice. And this is going to sound real snobbish, but it was like a far cry from how cool it once was, or at least the way that I remember it. Maybe, and it was much more hiroi. It was much bigger. The old place was huge, not huge, but it was like it had rooms, and you could like go into the back room, and you could smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, and it was just like awesome. And the new place is like a little tiny. It's what's happened everywhere in Tokyo. It's like everything's been split in half, and the one place became two, and then the two places became four, and like everything's just got, it got cut in half. And it's still really cool, and the staff was really nice, and the cake and the drinks and everything was awesome, and there's no more smoking, thank God. And like, it's all these young people who are hanging out, but it's like there's people queuing up to come in. And I was like, wow, this is happening, and I'm like, oh shit, I've got the most white hair by far in the place. And but it was good to know about, because I looked at it, it's like, okay, there is. And I said to the staff, oh, like I used to love coming to the old Masako. And she was like, oh yeah, cool. I said, here's some cool pictures I actually have handy of the old place, meeting up with some of my friends. She's like, natsukashi. And it would be cool to go back in there and be like, hey, I'm from the old days, and I'm the new customer who just came here the other day, and be like, oh, hey, cool, yeah, come on anytime. And like to get to be more friendly again with them again, and bring some of you guys with me there. That's kind of what I wanted to put out there, is that I want to go find all the new Masakos. I want to go find all the new things that have popped up that I don't know about, that are hip and that are up and coming, and that places I don't belong, really. Which maybe I'll abandon this idea before too long. And then when am I going to have time to go do any of these things? I have no clue. I have barely any time as it is, but I want to go find all the new places where all the new people are hanging out, and they're on my streams. I see all these people on my streams who are these like influencer people. And God, I don't really want to like become exactly one of them, because they sound so silly, but I also sounded so silly when I was, fresh off the boat, but they say like, oh, I love this thing and I love that thing, and I'm so stuck up and snobbish. I'm like, you don't know anything about anything. And there's somebody doing the same thing to me. They've got 10 or 20 or 30 years on me, and they're like, you don't know anything about anything. But I see them in like this culture of like the selfie stick and the blogging and like, hey, we're at a cool place, come check it out. I'm getting to It's like a thing that I'm starting to like really enjoy doing, and it's fun. It's not it's part of my interest. It's part of my character, my personality, to be like, hey, you're awesome, let's get you more awesome, let's celebrate. I want to broadcast about you, not because it's just cool, it's just fun and cool, and everybody, I want to inspire myself and I want to be inspired by you, I want to inspire others. That's just like my character. And I like it when people say like, me, little old me, and I say, yeah, little old you, your little old idea is fucking awesome. More people should know about this. This is genius. We gotta like megaphone this thing out there. It's so cool. And they're like, okay, cool. And then you're like, this guy is awesome. Check him out. She's so cool. This shop is amazing. And they're like, wow, this guy's really enthusiastic about this place. And I'm like, yeah, because it's like that's what you created. You created this idea, and it's real, and like I'm blown away that I didn't create it, you did. And I in everything that I've done, and photography is kind of like, it's that's baked into photography. It's showing people, it's showing a mirror to people, like, this is who you are. And then they say like, wow, this is really who I am. And you say, yeah. Anyway, but having been here a really long time, I feel like I have the credentials and the card. I'm a card carrying member of the, been here long enough to be able to go behind the yellow tape and be respectful of everybody and be on the level. And but just by the nature of having been here a really long time. But and maybe that doesn't really mean, this doesn't really count for anything. I feel like it should, but maybe that's something to think about. But at any rate, uh, there was this like situation that happened maybe 6 months to a year ago, where this like buffoon came over here with a selfie stick, and who I'm going to be finished in just a second. Who went and did all this outrageous stuff. I'm not even going to say his name, but just some shock jock sort of doofus who came and disrespected the country as a whole, just to kind of be, just for attention, and just because the guy had like complete lack of self-confidence and this poor lost soul. And he made an ass of himself, and he his bad actions reflected bad on everybody, including me. And so anytime I pop the camera up, even though I don't really want to blame him because I'm also contributing to the problem, and I see old people looking at me and I'm like talking to a camera, I'm like, yo, I'm in the place. This is the thing. And this is the one I share. They're like, the world's changed. And I'm like, I know, I don't love it either. I want to say to them. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there talking to a camera. But it's this whole double-sided sword. I'm going to sign off on this kind of idea, but like you want your kids to inherit a world that is better than the one that you inherited. And the one that I got was pretty good, I feel like. And but it's also like, careful what you wish for, because now that I sort of imagine Japan to be this like open place where everybody would be, like people could, it's like, you'd see every color of the rainbow reflected in society and on the train, and all these different languages, and it's this international city. It's also like, well, I got it, my wish came true. But now that my wish came true, it's like, maybe I wanted the old way again. I kind of miss the old way. So it's catch 22. But I don't know where to end, but I just say that like I guess the spirit of Tokyo is the only real identity that Tokyo itself has. This is the unique to Tokyo and not to really any other Japanese city, I would say, is that it just is in a constant state of flux. And it's just it like what was there today is not there tomorrow, and what is there tomorrow won't be there the day after. And that is its character, is it's just constantly shedding. And there's no like really reverence for I want to say tradition, but there's plenty of reverence for tradition, but it's just there's no reverence for like I don't know, like heritage, the city's heritage, whatever exactly that is. It's just except in a few little pockets, and but all those pockets are like going away soon. But it's okay because new ones are coming and they're getting written over, and that's is the city. So I want to go find what's getting written over and what's being written over, and I want to share it. So somebody had said to me, "Please, Brian, don't become a travel blog," and I don't even know who said it, but I was like, I don't want to become a travel blog, but I do. I won't always want to come back to music and come back to the things that I care about. But I kind of want to recommit myself to the city, and I want to go find out the new thing that everybody's talking about that I don't know about because I've been I want to say living under a rock, but I've been living in my comfortably in my cave. I made a cave. I found a good cave, made it real nice. And now I need to go hunt again. So I'm going to sign off there. I'm going to say thanks to you guys. Shot a wedding yesterday and it was having a bit of focus. It's just bummer, dude. That's the worst. Yeah, sometimes it's like these cameras can be like lemons. They can like you can get a good one and then you can get a bad one. Lenses are the same. It's like it might have been even the lens. Like a lens, there's like good ones. Like some of these when they come out of the factory, they pass these like what do they call it? Quality assurance, and like some of them are ranked higher than others. I mean, glass, after all, it's an organic substance. So as close as they can get it, there's microns difference from lens to lens, and some of them are A+++ and triple A and quadruple A, and so sometimes you just get, and then there's like good days and bad days and temperatures and who knows what goes into it. But yeah, I feel your pain, Photowini. Thanks for being here. When I dig in Shinjuku, I see a white person, I start to dig faster because I feel they might be looking for what I want. Interesting. Yeah, usually they're buying old man rock. Ha ha ha. Yeah, hey, Grasshopper TV. I don't reckon I've seen your avatar, Grasshopper TV. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's a complex emotion. It really is. It's connected to like ego, and it's connected to, like a real wish for something. There's something with ego that is involved with it. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it, but I think I'm at a stage, not just in life, but in my time in Tokyo, where I can be kind of above it all and be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Teach me. Yes, I've been here. Yes, you know it better than me. Yes, you speak Japanese better than me. I've been here for 20 years. You've been here for 5 minutes, but okay, you've got the knowledge. Show me what I'm missing out on. And I want to learn. I want to come here with some, with the understanding that I don't really know what the hell I'm doing here still after 20 years. And that kind of actually is what makes this experience what it is. It's all about discovery. It's just all about constant discovery every day, every single day. Even like the discovering old things that you're like, oh, I haven't seen that or felt that since the last time I was here. Cause it's so awesome. Like not in the like awesome, like that's awesome sense, but it's so awesome in the real definition of the word. It's awesome. It's an awesome scale, humbling. So you can never possibly know it all, and I want to go recommit myself to it and go learn it again. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for the follows, and I think I followed you back. I love following you guys, and I have a little kind of rule for myself, not exactly, but I'll follow you if you have no videos and no content if you want a follow. But I follow basically anybody who will comment on a video of mine, and I go hit the subscription button and I go see who I'm following, and I try to go watch videos. And then if I don't comment on a video at some point in the week, I go back and see like, oh look, I watched 20 videos and I didn't comment on a single one of them. I should go back and comment on all of them and at least share, the idea like, hey, I watched this, thank you. So you could be giving your attention somewhere else, and I can be giving my attention anywhere I want. And I've chosen to give it to the things that I do. And we should say at least thank you. I'm not asking for a thank you, but like we should say anytime we watch a video and spend, time, and our attention giving it to somebody. I mean, I guess it's not really you, it's the viewer who owes a thank you, or the creator who owes a thank you to you for watching it. But if you don't acknowledge that you've watched it, there's just no way for us, to even know to thank you. So, yeah, be encouraged to just leave a comment like, yo, I watched this. I watched it. You don't even have to say I enjoyed it, but I gave you my attention, because I do really want to say thank you for watching that. I'm sending some appreciation from Tokyo. So, Bucks, good to see you here. I'm hopping off. It's time to go. Nathan Gray, old homie from Tulsa. Love you, man. Hope all's well. Love you too, bro. And the whole fam, the whole 47th Street crew. I hope everybody's good. Yeah, cheers, Gary. And Grasshopper TV. Let me know. Leave a comment, maybe, Grasshopper TV, and remind me how we're connected. You're in Tokyo, right? When I'm digging in Shinjuku. So that means, and forgive me, I'm not good at remembering everybody's. And Photowini and Ninja Cat Matt and Spuds and North Carolina Vina Picker. And Yvonne, I stopped by as well. Appreciate all you guys being here. Okay, guys. It's time to get the Monday going. Monday morning. Thanks for letting me just have a little moment. I needed it. Do I feel better? I don't know. I still feel anxious about Monday, but I'm just going to carpe diem, seize the day. Okay, see you guys on the next stream. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend or beginning of your week, wherever you are in the world. Till next time. Bye.